Roles and the impact on the French Revolution. Let's start off with what was the French Revolution and when it happened. The French Revolution began in May 5th, 1789 through November 9th, 1799. The cause for this revolution was due by the widespread discontent with the French monarchy and the poor economic policies of Louis XVI. King Louis, who was born on August 23rd, 1754 in a palace of Versailles in France, took the role as a king and monarch after the unfortunate death of his grandfather. Louis, of course, was very happy to take that position, but he didn't know how much he lacked qualities of previous monarchs and how to be a good king, which led to many problems, especially the Third Estate. Now let me go back and clarify for you guys. French society was divided into three estates. The first estates were the clergy. The second estate was nobility, and the third estate, having mostly a French population, was divided into three. The burgesses, the city workers, and the peasants, which they had very little rights. One of the biggest impact that Louis had was that he didn't look out for the third estate. As a matter of fact, he gave money to the U.S. knowing how much of a struggle it was for the third estate, and that almost led them to the bankrupt. Then he came up with this nonsense idea of taxing the third estate, which made them pretty upset. The action takes place when the third estate starts to question, do we really deserve this? Is this really how we're supposed to be living? And they realize how much the upper classes have been taking advantage of them. Shortly after all the disaster that was caused, King Louis was sentenced to death by the French National Convention, and he was executed by guillotine in the place of the revolution in Paris in January 21st, 1793. Now let's go along with Maurice Antoinette. Being King Louis's wife, she was born on November the 2nd of 1755. Marie was the last queen of France who helped provoke the popular unrest that led to the French Revolution on to the overthrow of the monarchy. She died on October 16, 1793 in Paris, France. She was decapitated. Marie was best known for the let them eat cake when hearing that the poor people had no bread to eat. Another individual that impacted the French Revolution was Maximilien Robespierre. He was born in France on May 6, 1754. Maximilien was elected by the commoners to represent them as a deputy of the Third Estate. He served as president of the National Convention and on the Committee of Public Safety as well. He ended up achieving many lasting accomplishments, such as helping to create a more democratic French government system. Now, last but not least, Napoleon Bonaparte. He was born on August 15 of 1769. What was the impact he made? The impact that he had in the French Revolution was that he promoted ideals of the Enlightenment in Europe. He was also the French military leader and emperor who conquered much of Europe in the 19th century. Napoleon was who reformed the French educational system, and he also developed a civil code. This concludes to the 4 individuals that had an impact on the French Revolution.